Your mindset is either a gate or a cage. You choose. Let that sink in for a second, because every day, every single moment, you're making a choice. Whether you know it or not, whether you feel it or not, your thoughts are building something. They're either building a bridge to where you want to go, or they're stacking bricks around you, locking you into a life you were never meant to settle for. You think it's your boss holding you back. You think it's your background, your education, your lack of support. Nah, it's the voice in your head that says, you're not good enough, you're too late, you don't have what it takes. That voice is the real enemy. That voice is the cage, but here's the flip. That same mind, that same inner voice, has the power to unlock everything. The same thoughts that chain you down can be the thoughts that set you free. When you wake up in the morning and say, I've got purpose, I've got power, I've got potential, your mind doesn't argue, it follows, because your mind is a servant, not a master. You tell it where to go, and it will either lead you to destiny or drag you through defeat, depending on what you feed it. Most people ain't stuck in poverty or pain. They stuck in patterns of thinking that keep them reliving the same life over and over again. You want something different, then you've got to start thinking different. You want to level up, then level up how you think about yourself. Level up what you believe is possible. There's greatness in you, but it's waiting on the signal. It's waiting for you to open the gate. But you can't open that gate with fear, with doubt, with negative self-talk. You open it with vision, with faith, with inner fire. That's the gate I'm talking about. That mental gate that when it swings open, you see opportunities where you used to see dead ends. You see potential where you used to see problems. You start moving like the person you were created to be, not the person life told you to be. The craziest thing, most people don't even know they're in a cage. That's the tragedy. They're walking around thinking that life is what it is, and they just gotta accept it. But I came to wake you up. I came to rattle the bars, because once you realize that the only thing separating you from your next level is how you think, everything changes. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for perfect timing. You don't wait for someone to come save you. You flip the switch in your mind. You stop treating your thoughts like facts and start treating them like decisions. Because every thought you entertain either opens the gate to your future or slams it shut. And that choice, it's always been yours. Every limitation in your life first existed in your head. Before you ever failed, before you ever quit, before you ever got rejected or broke down or felt stuck. You thought it, you spoke it, you believed it, and that's where the real fight began. Because the truth is, nobody can limit you more than you limit yourself. Nobody knows the silent wars you fight in your mind, the battles between can I, and what if I fail, the moments when you talk yourself out of greatness because fear dressed itself up as logic. You got ideas, dreams, visions, but before they even hit the ground, your own mind shoots them down. That's how powerful your thoughts are. See, every invention, every breakthrough, every legacy started as a thought. A thought someone believed in when no one else did. But what separates the successful from the stuck is not talent. It's mental tenacity. It's the ability to take a thought and push it past fear, past doubt, past limitations. But if the thoughts you're carrying are soaked in insecurity, then even when opportunity knocks, you won't answer. Not because you're not capable, but because you've already disqualified yourself in your mind. That's what limitations really are. Self-imposed prisons built from unchecked thoughts. And until you recognize that the battlefield is internal, you'll keep blaming the external for why your life looks the way it does. You've got to start tracing those limits back to their source. Who told you that you couldn't do it? Who said you weren't smart enough, strong enough, worthy enough? Maybe it wasn't even a person. Maybe it was a moment, a failure that scarred you, a setback that reshaped how you see yourself. But here's the truth. Just because it started in your mind doesn't mean it has to stay there. Just because it formed as a thought doesn't mean it's a fact. You've got the power to rewrite the narrative. You've got the authority to challenge the thoughts that have been limiting you for years. but you can't fight what you won't face. Every single breakthrough begins when you confront the lie that says you can't. Every shift starts when you expose the limitation, not as your identity, but as an illusion, because your mind will either reflect the truth of your potential or the lie of your pain. You have to decide which one gets to stay. You have to decide whether you'll keep recycling the same old mental scripts or delete them and write new ones that align with your purpose. It's not easy, but it's possible. And possibility is all you need to begin. You don't need more resources. You need more belief. That's it. That's the core of what's holding most people back. It's not the lack of money, not the lack of time, not the lack of connections. It's the lack of belief, because belief is the root system of success. When you believe, truly believe, you'll find a way. You'll create solutions where other people see dead ends. You'll hustle, grind, learn, and evolve because your belief fuels your movement. But when you don't believe, even if someone gives you everything, you'll still find a way to lose it. You'll self-sabotage, you'll procrastinate. You'll talk yourself out of opportunities you prayed for because deep down, you don't think you deserve them. It's never about what you have in your hand, it's about what you hold in your heart. That belief, it's the difference between quitting and enduring. It's the difference between average and excellence. Most people spend so much time chasing the next tool, the next hack, the next resource. But they never stop and look in the mirror and say, do I actually believe I can do this? Because the moment you believe, you activate something inside of you. Belief turns on the lights in a room full of doubt. Belief makes you resourceful. It makes you resilient. When belief is strong, excuses are weak. Think about it. How many people with nothing have changed the world? How many came from the bottom with no connections, no mentors, no financial help? But they believed, and that belief made them read the books, study the greats, build something out of nothing. Because when belief is present, lack becomes irrelevant. When belief is burning in your soul, you don't wait. You work, you don't hope. You hustle, you don't panic. You plan, but without belief, all you see are obstacles, all you feel is fear, all you attract is hesitation. People say they need more motivation, but what they really need is to shift their mindset from doubt to certainty, from maybe to must, from I hope to I know. That shift, it doesn't require money. It doesn't require anyone else's permission. It only requires a decision, and once you decide to believe in yourself, everything changes, not overnight, but inevitably. You start showing up different. You start speaking different. You start expecting more, demanding more, becoming more, and soon the world begins to reflect back what you've chosen to believe, but it starts with you, not your circumstances. Not your bank account, not your environment, just you, and the decision to believe no matter what. Change your inner voice and you'll change your outer reality. That voice inside your head, it's the narrator of your life. It's the scriptwriter. It's either building you or breaking you, and most people don't even realize they're living according to a story they didn't write. They inherited it from pain, from trauma, from failure, from fear. That voice that says, I'm not enough. I always mess things up. I never catch a break. That voice becomes the blueprint, and your life starts following that script like it's law. But it's not law. It's just repetition. Repetition of thoughts that were never challenged, never questioned, never rewritten. See, your inner voice is your internal GPS. If it's set to negativity, it don't matter how powerful your engine is. You're headed in the wrong direction. If your self-talk is filled with doubt, you'll hesitate every time opportunity knocks. If your inner dialogue is full of fear, you'll shrink in the presence of greatness. And it doesn't matter how much potential you have, if the voice inside keeps reminding you of your past, your flaws, your mistakes. You'll keep living beneath your level, because it's not the noise outside that ruins dreams, it's the whispers inside that never got corrected. But here's the truth. You can reprogram that voice. You can flip the switch. You can start speaking life instead of death, hope instead of fear, power instead of pity, and when you do that, your actions follow. You walk into rooms different. You look at challenges different. You respond to failure different because the voice in your head is no longer tearing you down. It's building you up. You're not waiting on somebody else to encourage you. You're doing it yourself. You're feeding your own fire. That's when you become dangerous. That's when life begins to shift. When you change your inner voice, your habits start changing. Your relationships start evolving. Your goals start growing. You begin to attract what matches the level of belief in your heart, not the wounds in your past. The world will only reflect what you project. And if what you're projecting is pain, doubt, and fear, then don't be surprised when your life mirrors that. But the moment you start speaking to yourself like you matter, like you've got value, like you were built for greatness, your environment begins to align with that energy. Your reality begins to stretch to fit the size of your new self-talk. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's you vs you mastering the conversation inside so you can transform the experience outside. Because once your inner voice starts telling the truth about who you are, the world has no choice but to catch up. What you think daily builds the life you live eventually. Every thought is a seed, and the mind is fertile ground. So whatever you keep planting, nurturing, and watering with repetition and emotion will grow into actions, habits, and ultimately results. That's the truth most people miss. They think life is random, that outcomes are just the result of hard work or luck. But underneath all of that is a mindset that's either pushing you forward or pulling you back, moment by moment, thought by thought. You don't just wake up successful, confident, disciplined. You think your way there, or you don't. It's that real. Your dominant thoughts today are shaping your reality tomorrow. If you constantly think about failure, you start avoiding risk. If you constantly think about pain, you start hiding from challenges. If you constantly tell yourself you can't, guess what? Your body, your energy, your decisions, they all follow that command. That's how powerful your mind is. It don't need facts to believe. It just needs repetition. It don't care if it's truth or a lie. If you say it enough, your life will start bending around it. That's why you can be gifted and still stuck, talented and still broke, full of potential but empty of progress, because you're building a life with bricks made of fear, doubt, and insecurity. But flip that. Imagine if your dominant thoughts were purpose-driven. Imagine if every day your mental playlist sounded like, I'm chosen for this, I'm built for more, I'm unstoppable. You don't need outside approval when your inner world is already in agreement with your destiny. You don't need someone to validate your dream when your thoughts already confirmed it. And once your thoughts align with your vision, everything around you starts to shift. You walk with different energy. You handle obstacles with different strength. You grind with different focus because now your thoughts aren't fighting you. They're fueling you. That's the secret. It ain't just about motivation. It's about mental momentum. You've got to guard your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. You can't afford to wake up and think average thoughts and expect an extraordinary life. You can't think survival and expect abundance. You can't think one day and expect today. You have to become intentional with what you think, because those thoughts are carving out the next 5, 10, 20 years of your life, whether you realize it or not. So you've got to decide, what kind of life do you want to build, because that decision starts in your mind, not your bank account, not your circumstances, not your background. It starts with the thoughts you allow to dominate your day over and over again. Those thoughts become blueprints. Those blueprints become behavior, and that behavior becomes your destiny. Until you reprogram your mind, you'll keep repeating the same life. Different year, same struggles. Different job, same frustration. Different goals, same self-doubt. Because nothing truly changes on the outside until something shifts on the inside. You can upgrade your phone, your wardrobe, your environment. But if you don't upgrade your thinking, you'll always default back to the same patterns. Your mind is the software running your entire life, and most people are operating on an outdated, corrupted version that was written by fear, by failure, by what other people said about them. They're moving through life reacting instead of creating, surviving instead of building. And the reason they can't break through isn't because they lack potential, it's because they haven't updated their programming. Think about it. How many times have you set a goal, made a plan, even taken some steps, but somehow ended up right back where you started? That's not laziness, that's not fate, that's programming. That's your subconscious mind pulling you back to what feels familiar, even if it's painful, because the brain doesn't chase success, it chases comfort. And unless you rewrite what your mind believes is normal, you'll keep choosing the familiar over the future. That's why mindset isn't just some motivational word, it's the foundation of transformation. You can't keep feeding your mind your based thoughts and expect to live a victory-based life. You've got to go in there and pull out the lies. You've got to confront the fear-based beliefs that were planted in your childhood, in your past mistakes, in your disappointments. You've got to challenge those loops that say, this is just how I am, or people like me don't make it, or I'll never be enough. That's not truth. That's programming. And just like you can uninstall a toxic app, you can uninstall a toxic mindset. But you can't do it passively. You can't just hope for it. You have to reprogram it intentionally, consistently, and relentlessly. You have to speak new truth to yourself every single day, even when your situation doesn't reflect it yet. You have to visualize success when all you've known is failure. You have to train your mind to expect progress, to expect impact, to expect victor, even when life tells you otherwise, because eventually the mind follows repetition. And once you repeat the right thoughts long enough, the old program gets overwritten. And when that new program takes root, your decisions change, your habits change, your circle changes, your energy changes. Everything starts to evolve. That's the key. Stop waiting for something outside to save you and start doing the deep work inside that sets you free. Reprogram your mind with vision, with belief, with purpose. Because if you don't, life will just keep looping on autopilot. Same doubts, same fears, same cycles, but once you take back control of your mental software, you become the architect of a whole new future.